happens when a coach embarrasses your 10-year-old by telling him he runs funny in front of the whole gym class? Or 3 school-age boys bully your daughter after she gets off the bus? Or your older son bullies your younger son at home? You protect your child. There are a host of people, ideas, TV shows, foods, leprechauns, busy roads, and yes, even siblings that can hurt your child. Being present will lead to moments where you need to step in and protect your child physically, emotionally, mentally, and sometimes cosmetically. I can't tell you how many times my daughter tried to leave the house with eyeliner that was not on fleek. Girl, please. My 10-year-old daughter was riding home on a school bus one day, and a girl who didn't like her convinced 3 boys to beat her up after they got off the bus. The first thing my daughter told them after they were done was, "My dad's gonna be really mad." She was right. She came home in tears and told me the story. After comforting her, I asked, "Where do these boys live?" They all lived in our neighborhood. I took her by the hand and walked to each of their homes, informing their parents of their son's behavior. The moms of the first 2 boys responded exactly as I hoped they would, except for the part where I wanted them to ship their sons off to Russia on a cattle boat. But they did strongly correct their sons and had them apologize to my daughter. The last boy's door was answered by a dad who told me that parents shouldn't get involved in fights between their kids. I informed him, with my daughter listening, that if he couldn't teach his son that it's both cowardly and cruel for 3 boys to gang up on a girl, then it was obvious that he, the dad, was the real problem. I told him to keep his cowardly son away from my girl. After the boy's dad threatened me a couple of times, I pointed to my house and told him I'd be available anytime for further communication. He never came for a visit. Next morning I went to the bus stop with my daughter, holding her hand, while giving a protective look to each of the boys who'd hit her the day before. They never touched her again. I had similar discussions with my son's coach, who ridiculed him in front of his gym class, a family member who crossed the line in correcting my kids, and the girl who turned my youngest son down when he asked her to prom. Just kidding, I didn't talk to her. Not getting to dance with my beautiful baby boy was punishment enough. On occasion, an older sibling can get into a bad habit of teasing or bullying, or a younger sibling consistently aggravating the older. Dad's intervention in keeping the home a safe place is all part of being a good dad. Mom's intervention is important too, but I only wanted the boys who beat up my daughter to get a talking to, not get annihilated. Don't want to anger Mama Bear. Another thing to remember, sometimes you have to safeguard your kids from your own blind spots. Here's what I mean. It's easy as a parent to get into bad habits of communication. Maybe it's been a really hard day and I'm not as patient as I should be. Or one of my kids is going through a challenging stage and getting on my last nerve. Probably because they're a lot like me. My wife and I have permission to let the other know when we're off track. Doing something that isn't consistent with our desire to be good parents. Quickly changing our behavior and apologizing is important. We protect them in every area of their life, from teaching them to wear a helmet when they're riding their bike, to talking about appropriate touch and how to avoid child predators, how to cross a busy road safely, defend themselves, and of course the dangers of getting involved with a leprechaun and his mischievous little schemes. Getting our kids safely from conception to adulthood is a major part of being a dad. Proactive, consistent effort is important. When my daughter was about 13, looking more like a woman and less like a girl every day, we were in line at a grocery store. In a line next to us were 2 college-age guys, looking at my daughter and making comments to each other. It was obvious they were checking her out, which isn't okay, even if they were in the checkout line. They turned away to make another comment, and I stepped between them and my daughter. When they turned back around, I was staring at them with my arms crossed, looking like this. Their smirks quickly turned to embarrassment with their heads down. I learned to perfect that laser glare for every boy that came within 3 feet of my girl. I think a good dad glare is a great tool during the teen years. It says, "I love my daughter and I know what you're thinking." Statistics show that a dad being around can significantly reduce the chance of harm to a child, from a bad fall to teen pregnancy to those elusive leprechauns and the sneaky little games they play. A dad's protection makes it more likely that your child will reach adulthood without an event that will negatively alter their future. So get out there and practice that glare. Please like, share, and subscribe below. The difference a dad can make in one child's life can change the world.